If you care about your future, watch this video until the end. NFTs are insane. Most projects promise you the world, the moon, and beyond. They can cook, they can clean, they have massive utility. Everything in life will be free. All you have to do is mint this project, and you're going to not only be rich, but you will have anything and everything you've ever wanted. If you've ever minted an NFT project, you probably understand what I was saying before. Those are the kind of promises that NFT project creators promise. Tons of utility, meeting in person, metaverse spaces, metaverse land. The list goes on and on and on. And the majority of those times, the NFT creators can't or won't ever produce any of that. And unfortunately, because of the fact there's like 120,000 or something NFT projects that are out there and tons of projects mint every single day, it's very hard to find projects that potentially will be successful. So what I wanted to go to specifically here is a thread from NFT God that goes over a bunch of different strategies that I think are very important things to think about if and when you're going to mint or buy NFTs. Now, I've made some videos before in the past, but as I was reading through what NFT God is talking about, he gets very specific and right to the point. So I want to go through the rules that he's used to be successful flipping NFTs. And then I'm also going to show you some different examples of what he's specifically talking about. So if you're brand new to these NFT projects or to what an NFT is, you should hopefully be able to understand the points that this person, NFT God, is making. And from the examples that I'm going to show you, hopefully you can grasp the importance of setting up a strategy so that if you mint NFTs in the future, you can potentially win. Rule number one, either buy the floor or a super rare, nothing in between. 99% of the time I'll buy the floor, 1% I'll buy a rare. All the liquidity is at the floor. Anything in between will be impossible to get out of without taking a big hit on price. So what's he talking about? If we take a look at Bored Ape Yacht Club as an example, you'll see exactly what NFT God is talking about. This Bored Ape is at the floor of 84 ETH. You can check the activity and you can see what's been happening. And most of the activity, most of that liquidity is right at that floor price. So if you buy one of those apes higher than the floor price, especially much higher than the floor price, so let's say 92 ETH or whatever, there's a significant difference, 10, 8, 9, 10 ETH between whatever the floor price is. So what will it take if you're trying to flip an NFT quickly? It's going to take somebody buying 20 or 30 of these apes to get to whatever your price is. So if you buy one and you try to flip it and you're trying to do it quickly, that could potentially be a problem because you may have to lower whatever the price was to whatever the floor price is now, and that is the risk. And every NFT project is similar. Obviously, this is 84 ETH. This is on the higher end of NFT projects, but even on low-end projects, 1, 2 ETH, whatever, it's a really good tool, I think, or a strategy to think about, because why would you not buy from the floor? That's what the floor is there for. Buy from the floor, add a little bit to it if you're trying to flip it and see what happens. That is a much better strategy than just trying to buy an NFT that you like if your only objective is to flip it. There's obviously a difference if you're a long-term holder, you're buying NFTs because you want to keep them versus making money. Buying off the floor is going to give you a much better chance of making money because you bought at the lowest possible entry, and most of that liquidity is going to be at that lowest possible entry. Rule 2, don't buy derivatives. Name one successful project that is a derivative of another project. You can't. While that meme derivative of a zoo animal seems exciting on paper, you're playing a losing game by buying. Just avoid it at all costs. I think that's actually a really good point because of the fact that there's so many official, unofficial derivatives of projects out there. What happens with most things in life and in crypto is you have a successful project, a successful launch, a mint, and then everybody tries to clone or copy that. So they come out with these cheaper looking, maybe slightly different looking NFTs that trick people a lot of times because you're like, oh, well, I can get this similar looking NFT for a much cheaper entry point. Maybe it'll go up in price. And the reality is most of the time that's not true. Do people make money in some of those situations? Yes. but you're taking a risk. So if your one objective is to make money, you obviously have to figure out the best strategy to minimize your risks, because the more risk you take, the more potential you have to lose. Rule number 3, don't copy trade influencers. Influencers have a million different reasons to tweet about a project other than to help you. Paid shills, exit liquidity dumping, or just pumping their own bags. Money corrupts everything. It's best to let others become exit liquidity. Here's the thing. I think everybody should be aware by now that there are so many scams in the NFT space, as well as crypto in general. You've got to make sure you're getting some news from other sources beyond just an influencer that's screaming at you about the next big NFT project and why they're going to buy it. Because a lot of times the reality is you end up with people that are looking at trying to sell you on NFT projects, and then you have some people that are trying to potentially help you learn about different NFT things, or maybe stay away from crypto in general. And if you don't get some information from multiple sources, you're relying on what that influencer is probably being paid to tell you. They don't care about you specifically. They just want to be able to make money and get you to buy a project because that is what they're paid to do. So you have to think about it from that aspect. If you just get hyped up and FOMO'd up because of what somebody tells you, especially if it's a YouTube video, you got to make sure you take a second to chill out and make sure that you're not acting on just emotions from the hype and the FOMO, because if you are, boop, boop, you're probably going to lose. Rule number 4, never blindly follow an alpha group. I've lost 100% of the trades I've placed where I blindly followed somebody. All you know is their entrance. You don't know when they exit or why. Come up with your own system, never follow. And I actually know from experience that this is generally true. If you are watching this video, you know who you are, because I followed you into a couple of different NFT projects. I had a lot of fun, but you and I both know what happened. Rule number 5, don't trade in the middle of the night. Want to ruin your next day? Wake up and place the trade. I've had so many sleepless nights because I woke up, traded, and thought about it the rest of the night. I promise the opportunity will still be there when you wake up. Now, obviously, there are market timing situations where maybe this will or won't work, but I think the reality that NFT God is talking about here is it's about you and your own sanity as well. If you can't get sleep, if you're, stressing out about the whole situation, if you're getting super emotional about it, then obviously you probably need to adjust your strategy. And this is one of the specific things that you may need to do to make sure that you're not just trading on the emotions and letting it rule your life, basically, because then you'll not only make mistakes, but you may have a lot of sleepless nights for nothing, probably, because the potential, if it's a good project, it's probably still going to be there. Rule number 6, the moment you start feeling FOMO or emotion, close your computer. Emotions corrupt your mental state. You stop thinking clearly. Any sort of emotion will cloud your judgment. Start feeling FOMO or stress. Exit Opensea. You can never lose by sitting on the sidelines. And I think this is really a great point to make, because the reality with a lot of these projects, a lot of NFT projects, especially right now, is there are thousands, tens of thousands of them. Is everyone going to be 6-figure? No, but there's going to be more. So if you care about the NFT space, if you care about yourself personally, take some time, make sure that you are not hyping and FOMOing into things, because most of the time you're going to lose money, and that does not help the NFT space. That's something specifically that I've made several videos on before, where I go review NFT projects and I try to just help people out. I can't guarantee whether it's going to be a good or a bad project, but there are things you can always look for. And unfortunately, way too many people mint worthless NFT projects because of hype and FOMO. And the majority of those projects are either totally gone and dead, nobody cares about them anymore, or one or two wallets buys all of the NFTs up, and they're doing all this insider trading junk. So it wasn't even a good project in the first place. And most of the time, guess what NFT they won't buy? The one you're holding. Rule number 7, work on growing outside of NFTs. By working on building my skill sets, I've removed the need for the dopamine hits from trading. Dependence on dopamine hits will harm you in so many ways. Work on building yourself, and you'll be in a great mental state the next time you trade. I think that's really important because you know what happens a lot of times because of the way our bodies work with dopamine and how good we can sometimes feel when we're minting NFT projects, the hype, the FOMO. We got our friends, they're talking us up. We're just feeling awesome. Even though we're wasting sometimes thousands of dollars, we still feel good until we don't. That is where dopamine a lot of times plays into that. And it's all over the place because games are designed a lot of times to do that, to make you really feel good. Gambling, there's so many different things that are set up to trigger the release of dopamine so that you as a person feel great, even if you're losing. And that is a serious problem. So dopamine is a type of neurotransmitter and a hormone. It plays a role in many important body functions, including movement, memory, and pleasurable reward and motivation. Rule number 8, ask yourself, why will a project be more valuable in 6 months? This rule is perhaps the most important rule of them all. Before you buy an NFT, ask yourself this simple question. If you can't answer it clearly, your thesis is hopium. Don't buy, play to live another day. I think this is actually really great advice. And this thread is available on Twitter. I retweeted it at Crazy Basement Life, my Twitter handle. I think it's really important to just read through this stuff. Give NFT God some credit. He does have a newsletter out there, so you can just follow NFT God right here. But I want to talk specifically now about some of the things specifically to NFTs that I think are important and some of the tools, because of the fact that almost every project out there promises you the same thing. Utility, all these different realities and futures, metaverse, meetups, everything. Not every single NFT project can do that. There's, I don't know, 160,000 NFT projects or something when you consider ERC 721s and some of the newer tokens that are out there. Not every one of those is ever going to be successful. It's just almost impossible because you're going to have these NFT crowds that shift between all of the same projects trying to mint and flip to make money. And a lot of times, those are the people that are always winning. And any new person in the NFT space or those who get hyped up on emotions are the ones that generally always lose. So you obviously have Opensea where you can look at projects. There's ic.tools. You can see some of the most recent projects as well as some of the ones that are going to mint. I know there's a lot of NFT calendars out there. And, you know, one of those things, if you do get into any of those NFT groups, it's not necessarily bad, but you need to think about the different moves you're making because everybody in that group is going to have probably a strategy and they're going to mint and flip it right on top of you just to try to make a profit. And if every one of those guys and girls are doing that, then that potentially is going to shorthand you every time. So why would you want to put yourself in that situation? What specifically is an NFT? This is on the Ethereum chain. You have these ERC 721 and the ERC 1155. Some of the new ones, this EIP 2309. So there's a lot of things changing in NFTs as well. You have NFTs that are mostly pictures or a token that's linked to a picture. You have ones that are specifically for gaming. So the world of NFTs is fairly complicated. And that's why I think you as an investor or a gambler in NFTs, you need to have a strategy and you need to think why you specifically are in the NFT game. Is it because you are going to short-term flip it and just make money? And if that's your situation, you have a completely different strategy that you need to start paying attention to and set up a playbook that you can follow every time. Therefore, your emotions will not get in the way of that. Now, if you're a long-term holder and you just love the pictures, obviously you can right-click and save the picture for free. But if you're trying to support the NFT space specifically, that's a whole different mentality also. And if you have massive bags, if you're a huge whale and all you like to do is give out free money, which is effectively a lot of times what happens, then I guess more power to you. But the reality is the more junk NFT projects we have out there, the less good projects can get liquidity and make people money. So it's kind of one of those things that I think a lot of people don't think about in the NFT space. Just having tons and tons and tons of NFTs out there is not a good thing. We need better quality NFT projects with a point. And I'm talking art. I'm talking niches, something specific, right? You have different games, you have different points to NFTs. All of that stuff is fine. But if you go to Etherscan and you look at what I'm showing you right here, there's 115,000 ERC-721 contracts out there. This is only on Ethereum, and there's plenty of blockchains that have NFTs. Why do you need all of these NFTs? What is the point of them? And I think that's the reality. 90+%, they have no point. It's either a cash grab from the people trying to create the NFTs so they can make money, or people are trying to use these NFTs just to flip, and it doesn't work the same way as meme coins or tokens where you can just sell them if you don't want them anymore. When you buy one of these NFTs, you are stuck with it like a used car. It is yours unless someone else wants to buy it. And most of the time, people don't want to buy junk NFTs. And it's very unfortunate, I think, because of the fact that a lot of people basically get scammed out of money thinking they're going to flip and make money on these NFTs. And sometimes the project and the project developers are great, and it seems like they have a really good idea and they want to do whatever they say they're going to do. But a lot of times, unfortunately, the NFT community, very toxic. They just go around trying to find projects to flip. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about anything beyond making money. So if the majority of the people in your NFT project, if that is their mindset, you are probably going to lose, unfortunately. There's these ERC 1155 tokens also. There's around 15,000 on Ethereum. So that puts you up at, almost 130, 40,000. So that is what's crazy. There are so many different potential projects coming out. And that's where you really need to understand, why are you getting into these NFTs? Is it for utility? Is it to flip? Short term, long term? You love the picture? I think all that is important, because even though all of these NFTs claim they have some form of utility, the reality is almost none of them do. I mean, that's literally the reality. I've seen a couple that do. They want to have it in the beginning. But here's the thing. Just think about it like this. Somebody's walking up to you and they're promising you a payout in the future if you give them money right now. Start asking questions. Follow on Twitter. Join the Discord. When is this utility coming? Why does it have to wait till afterwards? What are the connections? Can you tell us ahead of time? And whatever the case is, the reality is these people behind most of these NFT projects, they want money and they need money to build whatever their idea is. And a lot of times they do not have the skills or abilities to market and get that utility. They have the nerd skills and nerd ability to create the project, the art to get the NFT going, but a lot of times they can't go any further than that. And unfortunately, they get people set up that think that they're going to make money or be able to do something, and then they effectively got scammed out of that money because there was literally never going to be a future. And that's the biggest unfortunate part. You can go on Opensea and explore these utility NFTs, but again, just because it says it has utility, just because the project owners promise something, what prevents them from walking away, rug pulling, or scamming a project? Nothing. What is creating a situation where they have to do what they say? Nothing. You're going off of blind faith. Now, as regulation comes out, if different things happen, especially in the United States, that could affect a whole bunch of different things, and maybe we wouldn't see as many scam projects, at least locally in the United States. But again, it's one of those situations where I think you really have to ask yourself, what is the point of these NFTs? Why are you buying them? Why do you even want them? And if it's just about flipping it and making money, the only way to win is to create a strategy. Sometimes you have to test it out, but you always have to go into it with a strategy, knowing what you're going to do. Otherwise, you're going to lose. Me and you, we both know that. I've lost money in NFTs. You've probably lost money in NFTs. It's unfortunate. If you made it this far in the video, pat yourself on the back. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe, spread this video around. And hey, guess what? If you want me to look at a project to review it for free, leave me a comment and I'll do that just to help you out and to spread the word, especially if you have a potentially good NFT project. But I gotta be honest, I'm gonna be realistic. If I don't think it's a good project, I'm just gonna straight up say that. Prove me wrong. That would be the best thing you can do. Actions speak louder than words. Have a great day.